Are you looking at purchasing a home in and around Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and curious whether it's a buyer's market, seller's market, or balanced?
Welcome to this market update, where we'll be breaking down each price range to help you see whether conditions currently favor buyers, sellers, or if things are more balanced. When we talk about a buyer's market, we mean there are plenty of homes for sale compared to the number of buyers, giving buyers stronger negotiating power. In a seller's market, the opposite is true. Limited inventory and high demand drive prices up and give sellers an advantage. And in a balanced market, supply and demand are in relative harmony, so neither side has a stronger upper hand. We're going to dive into the stats for each price bracket, covering how many properties are on the market, how quickly they're selling, and what the level of competition looks like. This will give you a clear view of the opportunities and the challenges you might face whether you're buying or selling in a particular price range. Let's jump in and see where the numbers are.
Now, there's many factors that go into whether a market is a buyer's market, seller's market, or if it is balanced. Some of those can have to do with interest rates, but a lot has to do with the demand of how many buyers or sellers are within specific price ranges. In this video, we will specifically be looking at bracketed price ranges to determine on whether that price range is leaning towards which market. We will be looking at how many active homes are currently listed between a specific price range, how many have sold within the last 30 days, giving us how much months of inventory we have on the market. Now, those months of inventory mean that if no new homes entered the market, that's how many months it would take at the current rate for all those properties to sell out. That also helps us break down whether there's not a lot of inventory or if there's a surplus of inventory, i.e., making it a buyer's market, seller's market, or balanced. So let's take a look at this month's numbers. Under 100,000, there are currently 34 active homes, and there were 3 that have sold within the last 30 days, giving us 11.3 months of inventory, which is a buyer's market. $100,000 to $200,000 currently has 57 active properties, and we saw 9 close in the last 30 days, giving us 6.3 months of inventory, which is a buyer's market. Now, those price ranges might surprise you, but it has to do more with the type of properties that are for sale in those price ranges. A lot of them are going to be manufactured homes on rented lots or homes that some buyers do not qualify for loans. So that is why there's more inventory available in those price ranges, because we know there's a lot of buyers that would be in that price range. They just unfortunately can't get a loan on some of those properties. $200,000 to $300,000 currently has 56 active properties, and we saw 22 that have closed in the last 30 days, giving us 2.5 months of inventory, which is a seller's market. $300,000 to $400,000 currently has 116 active properties. In the last 30 days, we saw 35 homes close in this price range, giving us 3.3 months of inventory, leaning towards a balanced market. $400,000 to $500,000 currently has 173 active properties. And in that price range, in the last 30 days, there were 72 homes that closed, giving us 2.4 months of inventory, making that a seller's market. $500,000 to $600,000 currently has 192 active homes for sale. We saw 72 close in the last 30 days, giving us 2.6 months of inventory, which is a seller's market. $600,000 to $700,000 currently has 153 active properties for sale. In the last 30 days, we saw 34 properties that have closed in that price range, giving us 4.5 months of inventory, making that a balanced market. $700,000 to $800,000, we currently have 133 active properties in that price range. In the last 30 days, we saw 23 homes that have closed, giving us 5.7 months of inventory, which is a balanced market. $800,000 to $900,000 currently has 77 active properties. In the last 30 days, we saw 13 that have closed, giving us 5.9 months of inventory, which is a balanced market. $900,000 to $1 million currently has 66 active properties in that price range. In the last 30 days, we saw 9 homes that have closed, giving us 7.3 months of inventory, which is a buyer's market. $1 million to $2 million currently has 283 active homes available in that price range. In the last 30 days, we saw 31 homes close in that price range, giving us 9.1 months of inventory, making that a buyer's market. $2 million to $3 million currently has 78 active properties. In the last 30 days, we saw 5 homes that have closed in that price range, giving us 15.6 months of inventory, which is a buyer's market. Now, for the price range over $3 million, there are currently 98 active properties. However, we did not see any homes in that price range close within the last 30 days. Therefore, there's still a lot of inventory, and that price range too is a buyer's market. Now, just because a price range is a buyer's market or a seller's market does not necessarily mean that a home in that price range is going to go quickly. The home still has to be listed at fair market value, or some of those properties are sitting on the market.
And just remember, these numbers are based on our entire MLS. So these numbers will change if you're just looking in one specific area. Let's say you just want Coeur d'Alene. These numbers can and will be different versus if you want Hayden, Post Falls, or if you want all of them combined. And that is why it's best to reach out to a local real estate agent and go over the actual situation for the price ranges you are looking in. Now, let's go over some tips depending on which market it is and whether you are a buyer or seller. If it's a buyer's market and you're a buyer, negotiate aggressively. With more homes available, you have more room to ask for concessions, price reductions, or closing costs. Take your time. You're less likely to be competing against multiple offers, so you can thoroughly evaluate properties. Look for incentives. Sellers may be offering incentives like covering inspection fees or throwing in appliance upgrades. If you are a seller in a buyer's market, price strategically. You can't afford to overshoot. Research comparable sales closely to keep your listing competitive. Your real estate agent will be doing a CMA for you. Stage and market thoroughly. In a crowded market, your property has to stand out visually and online. Remember, that's where buyers start looking first. Be flexible. Offering to help with closing costs or being open to contingencies can attract more buyers. If it's a seller's market and you're a buyer, make sure your pre approval is up to date. Show that you are a serious contender by having your finances locked in. Move quickly. Desirable homes may receive multiple offers in a short time. Be prepared to act fast. Be competitive. Consider fewer contingencies or a higher earnest money deposit to catch the seller's eye. Sellers in a seller's market. Price confidently. With limited inventory, you have stronger leverage in listing your property, but do not overprice it. Expect multiple offers. Be prepared to compare terms, not just price. Sometimes a flexible closing date or a buyer's solid financing is worth more than the highest bid. Manage your next steps. Since your home may sell quickly, have a plan for where you'll be going next to avoid last minute stress. If it's a balanced market and you're a buyer, do your due diligence. You may still have the same room to negotiate, but not as much as in a stronger buyer's market. Keep an eye on value. Focus on long term appreciation and choose a property that fits your needs without feeling rushed. If you are a seller in a balanced market, highlight unique features. Whether neither side has a huge advantage, emphasizing what sets your home apart can sway buyers. Stay realistic on your price. Overpricing may push buyers away. Fair pricing helps you stand out among similar listings.
If you have any questions about real estate in and around Coeur d'Alene, please reach out. My name is Amanda Kusper. I'm with the Phoenix Agency.